Happy Monday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the Grand Poobah. Yes, this is take 3. Yes, you are correct, gang. Today is Monday, June 1st, 2020. This is episode 494 of The Daily Dope. So if this is the first time you've decided to pop in and check out the show, let me point out this is very, very casual. Just talking about tabletop gaming. Yeah, for the most part. Every once in a while, talk maybe PC games, pop culture, what have you. But all in all, it's nearly completely tabletop gaming. I do want to point out before we start jumping into everything, if you like the video, by all means, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. If you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that little notification bell, because it will not only let you know when the Daily Dope streams live Monday through Thursdays right here on YouTube. I'll also tell you when I upload standalone videos, which I had a couple last week over the weekend. So I did my review of Monsters of the Underworld, which is from Kwood Publishing. And I also did my, if I can pick it up over here, also did my review for the Traveler Starter Set from Mongoose Publishing. So those were both up. So got that taken care of. Anyway, do also want to point out when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. All right. Also do want to mention, because this is a live stream, there is chat available here on YouTube. It's not on screen. One of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay, but I do my best to pay attention to chat. So if you want to say howdy, or maybe you've got a question or a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond. So we've got Dan from No Enemies here. We got Flaming Heron and Jorge Rodriguez are hanging out in chat so far. This is, yes, take 3 of trying to get the stream going today. So over the weekend, not only did I release some videos, yesterday I went and picked up a new motherboard and a new CPU and some memory in that. Swapped that out. So now I am running a well, I don't want to say completely different, because some of the peripherals as well as the case are the same. But for the most part, totally different computer. So I went from an i5, an older Intel i5, which was overclocked, so that was pretty cool, to an AMD Ryzen 9. So we shall see what's going on. So Jorge says, for watching, only 2 likes. I don't expect everybody to be popping a like on there while they're watching. I mean, yeah, when the show's wrapping up, maybe hit the like. Although I got to admit, I have seen people give me thumbs down on the stream before it started. So anyway, so I got a new computer. I am still ironing things out, of course. So we shall see. I don't think there's a big problem with any of the software in that, but I think the thing is, you always got to play around with the USB ports. Whenever you have like cameras set up to them or microphones set up to them, you always got to mess around. You always got to mess around and make sure that everything works correctly. So I don't know. Then again, it could have been our early kind of drop frames problem. Could have just been an internet thing, internet hookup or hiccup, I should say. Don't know. Anyway, so Flaming Heron says, all good. If we didn't have some issues, it wouldn't be one of your streams. That's not true. Not every show. There are some shows that just go off without a hitch. It's when I get new equipment and I don't have enough time to actually sit down and study it. That's usually when we have some hiccups along the way. Anyway, so weird things going on in the world right now, especially in the United States. The last week was not a good week. This is not starting off to be a good week either. I am not going to get real political or anything like that. It's just, man, I don't know. It's getting kind of scary. It's getting kind of scary. There were actually looters not far from where my brother and my sister-in-law and my niece and nephew live. I don't know. So, fingers crossed. People start. I completely agree with the protesters who are out there and marching in that. I am all with that. Burning down stores and stuff like that. Now, just I don't see that. And I do understand violence really is the answer to everything. It really is. I tweeted that over the weekend that people say, oh, violence doesn't solve anything. It's like, yeah, well, since the beginning of time, violence has pretty much solved everything. Not for the better, but it is a solution. And that's usually what people resort to. So, yuck. Anyway, so hopefully everybody out there is safe and things aren't too crazy in their neck of the woods either. I'm out in the Chicago suburbs, so although I have to admit that's where I'm not the same suburb, but my brother and his family, they live out in the suburbs too, but I live in a different kind of almost, I don't want to say it's like farmland, but it's not a very crowded area that I live out in. All right. Anyway, do want to also point out that not a lot of news today. Not a ton of news. I really was scraping around to get news today. So, what can I tell you? We'll just kind of kick back, relax. I'll show you what came in the mail on Friday. It was very cool from my friends over at Cubicle 7. Last thing before I jump into the news, and this is bizarre. So I had a contest to win a copy of the Pathfinder 2nd Edition Bestiary 2. Super easy. Contest was super easy to win. All you had to do was comment on the review video, be a subscriber. Between the date I launched the contest, which was Wednesday of last week? Maybe Wednesday or Thursday. Maybe it was Wednesday. So all you had to do was comment on the video, be a subscriber, right? That's all you had to do. That's it. That's all anybody had to do. I got some comments on the video. They weren't from subscribers. Don't know what to tell anybody. There's rules for a reason. I had rules for the contest. So I guess nobody gets it. I don't know. I don't understand. I'll do these like contests and that for pretty cool stuff. And I get zero response. I don't get zero. I get very minimal response on the contest. And like I said, I don't understand why. So, and Jorge says, I forgot about the contest. See, as Jorge quotes me, violence is a solution. It is a solution. It's not necessarily the best solution, but it is a solution. I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen Viper Dave pop back in, because we had Viper Dave hanging around when we started the stream for the second time. So first time I started the stream. So as you can see me, right? Woo! So everything's fine. I'm checking it out. Video feed looks good. Check the sync. Audio's in sync. We're all good to go. I start the little intro and I go to the scene with me, and then it's like nothing. I was like, what? What the hell's going on here? I'm like, why do I not have a video feed anymore? I was like, I just had the video feed. Everything was fine. Once again, swapped out the USB ports. It's kind of weird. Yes, and Flaming Heron's not in the US. Yep. Anyway. All right. Anyway, so that's what's been going on Just craziness around the country. I don't know. I do not know. So, yep. So, Flaming Heron's also pointing out, oh, yes, they're not in the U.S. All right, so let's jump on into the news. Like I said, there's not a ton of news tonight. Also, if you're watching live, let me know how the audio sounds. Kind of try to make a couple of more tweaks to the audio. We have he's not, I believe he's a subscriber, but he doesn't watch all the time. Glenn Darren, he had commented he used to work in audio. And I'm hoping one of these days he'll pop in to chat. And I was going to ask if maybe I sent him just a raw audio file, if he might tell me what he might recommend as far as kind of tweaking whatever different settings I've got on the different equipment. So if he'd be interested, do know. All right, let's jump on into the news because Free RPG Day is heading our way on July 25th. I've got the dope on what's going to be up for grabs. So Flaming Heron says the audio sounds fine. I'll give you an indication by the end. All right, there we go. This year's Free RPG Day 2020 kit contains over 125 items from 14 different publishing partners. So when I say 125 items, these are the boxes that the game stores and some comic book stores have to purchase to give away. So Free RPG Day is free to the gamers. It is not necessarily free to the retailers. And I think some people don't realize that. All right. So the list of publishing partners and brand lines of the products are as follows. I do not have specific items yet, but we've got 9th level games, level 1 anthology of indie RPGs. Cubicle 7 will be offering a Warhammer 40K Wrath and Glory. I'm going to take a guess. It's going to be a quick start, of course. Dave Taylor Miniatures / Mantic Games / Army Painter will have How to Paint a Library. Okay. I don't, kind of unusual there. Fantasy Flight Games is offering Genesis Keyforge, which is kind of strange. I'm going to take a guess that they're going to offer some promo decks. Well, it can't be promo cards because the Keyforge is all set where you have a specific deck that came in the box, and that's what you play with. Gatekeeper Games will be offering some dice. Goodman Games will be offering a Dungeon Crawl Classics adventure. Hit Point Press is going to be providing Humblewood. That is not something I'm familiar with. Magpie Games will be offering the Root RPG. Oni Games Junior Braves. Once again, another game I'm not familiar with. Paizo will be offering Pathfinder as well as Starfinder. They always do their Free RPG Day adventures. Usually the Starfinder and the Pathfinder, usually, if I remember correctly, well, not Starfinder. Starfinder's got these other little creatures that they used, I think it was last year. But Pathfinder is usually with goblins. It's usually an adventure where the players are playing goblins. Q Workshop will have some dice. Renegade Game Studios will be offering both Kids on Bikes, yay, and Overlight. Yeah. Roll20 is going to have subscription promos, and WizKids will be offering a Warlock Tile exclusive item. There will be one of those in each of the boxes. So as far as these go, the Anthology of Indie RPGs, as well as the Pathfinder and Starfinder, will have 15 copies each for each of the boxes that your friendly local game store happens to purchase. So, as I always like to point out, if you are going to your game store for Free RPG Day, try to have a couple of bucks in your pocket, pick something else up at the same time, because it's free to you, not to them. All right, so moving right along, the latest stay-at-home, play-at-home release for Dungeons & Dragons is right from Wizards of the Coast. I've got the dope on D&D Adventurers League Jarl Rising. Wait a second here. Bing. There we go. That's the right one. Wrong order. Flaming Huron says, I don't know Overlight, though. Overlight was interesting, but super undercooked from Renegade Game Studios. So far, out of the role-playing releases that Renegade has done, I think the Kids on Bikes is really well done. So I'm going to take a guess, probably the other kind of on bikes sort of releases that they've got. I think they've got Kids in Space, something like that. I'm sure those are pretty good. But Overlight, I thought, was an interesting concept, just kind of very bland. Another one of these kind of what I like to kind of refer to as new age role-playing games that think they're much cleverer than they are, much more clever than they actually are, and very lightweight mechanically. And then I thought the second edition of Outbreak Undead was just an unmitigated disaster. I thought that was a mess. I thought that was a complete mess. So I don't know. There are people out there who like it, but I thought I was not one of them. That is for certain. So anyway, back to the dope on D&D Adventurers League, Jarl Rising. The frost giants of the Ice Mountains have long held to the belief that a great Jarl will one day step forward to unite the families as Koenig, king. With the Orning shattering, however that's. Okay, I love the fantasy games with all these weird oddball pronunciations of things. Jarl Reindolg believes that he can locate Heartkiller's Horn, a legendary artifact among giant kind. He could be the one. He may very well have found what he's looking for. A great clarion call has echoed across the Heartvale for 2 days, and the giants are all marching north. Seer calls upon adventurers to confirm rumors that Reindolg may have done just that. This is a 4-hour adventure for 5th through 10th level characters. The 26-page adventure is for free. Hooray! Yes, it is absolutely free at Dungeon Masters Guild, and you can get it up until June 5th. So there we go. Grey Day's popped in. Good to see you, Grey Day, there. All right. Welcome aboard. Gotta say, I appreciate the fact that we are still seeing the stay-at-home, play-at-home freebies from Wizards of the Coast now that most of the United States is trying to get back to normal. Speaking of back to normal, Pinky just strolled down here caterwauling. So we'll probably hear a little bit of her. Hello, Pinky. I'm actually going to do my best to show Pinky off on the 500th episode. Of course, she won't be like live on my lap. There's no way. But I might shoot a little video of her. I'll shoot some video of Smokey too, but Smokey's quiet. Smokey's very well behaved. She's my cat. That's why. So, all right. But as I was saying, I really do appreciate the fact that we are still seeing the stay-at-home, play-at-home freebies. I don't know how long that's going to continue on. I wouldn't be shocked if it's over. Now, I have not taken a look on Wizards of the Coast website just yet. It's usually around this time every night that we do see the freebie. So I don't know. I have no idea. But like I said, it's still cool stuff. I do notice the things that are like pretty rockin', they'll only have it available for download for 2 or 3 days. There was one item last week that I don't remember what it was off the top of my head. If I remember correctly, it was like a 600-page adventure, and it was not from D&D Adventurers League originally. It was a D&D Adept release over at Dungeon Masters Guild, and that was absolutely free, but you only had 2 days to get it. It was like, holy cow. You guys are kind of flying through there pretty quick. All right, so moving right along. the pocket edition of The Curse of the Crimson Throne. Yes, this is what I started talking about a few moments ago. For Pathfinder, it has arrived, and here's the dope. The kings and queens of Korvosa have long ruled under the shadow of the curse of the Crimson Throne, an infamous superstition claiming that no monarch of the city of Korvosa shall ever die of old age or produce an heir. Womp womp. I guess maybe that wouldn't be so bad. Yeah, think about it. Whether or not there is any truth to the legend of the curse, Korvosa's current king is but the latest victim to succumb to this foul legacy. Now the metropolis teeters on the edge of anarchy, and it falls to a band of new heroes to save Carcosa from the greatest threat it has ever known. This softcover compilation presents the fan-favorite campaign for use with the Pathfinder role-playing game First Edition, including new and revised content and nearly 500 pages packed with mayhem, excitement, and adventure. The Curse of the Crimson Throne Pocket Edition contains all 6 chapters of the original adventure path, expanded and updated for use with the Pathfinder role-playing game First Edition, an in-depth gazetteer of the city of Korvosa as it exists under the rule of its new queen. Yes, that's right. The king is dead. Long live the queen. An array of new rules options for characters ranging from campaign traits to spells to magic items. There's an expansive appendix with statistics, descriptions, backgrounds, and rules support for the 12 most important NPCs in the campaign. A bestiary featuring 9 monsters from the original adventure path. Dozens of new illustrations, never before seen characters, location maps, extensive new encounter locations, and more. The pocket-sized tome clocks in at nearly 500 pages. It's available for an MSRP of $29.99. Very good, very good. I don't know a ton about the actual Curse of the Crimson Throne role-playing adventure, the Adventure Path campaign. I have played the Curse of the Crimson Throne for the Pathfinder Adventure card game, but that really doesn't equate, exactly to, I'm sure, how the adventure was. But almost 500 pages, $29.99, and that is a physical book. We're not talking about a PDF here, folks. That is a physical book. Really sweet deal. And it's for first edition. And I know there are some people out there who are not sold on second edition Pathfinder. They still want their, basically their D&D 3.75. I understand that. And it's nice to see that Paizo is still releasing some items for first edition. I don't expect to see a ton. I think this was probably something that was already in the pipeline a long time ago. And they figured, okay, well, we best finish this up and actually put this out. So there you have it, though. It is out in stores right now. So let's see. Fleming Heron says, looks like they plan to release their D&D content till Friday at least. Nice. So they already have a new adventure for today. Cool. So, of course, I'll share that news for the D&D adventure tomorrow. That's how it usually works. So Jorge Rodriguez says the adventure path looks interesting. This is supposed to be a classic. It really is. So Agrede says that they ran the Crimson Throne about 10 years ago. So Agrede, share with us what you thought of it. If you enjoyed it, if you enjoyed it, did your players enjoy playing it as well? And Jorge mentions that they like 2E. So do I. I like 2E. See, but I have a luxury. I have the luxury that I don't necessarily have to put my irons in any fires as far as role-playing games. I can just enjoy like a bunch of different stuff. I have no, I think I've made it obvious that I love running Call of Cthulhu, and Call of Cthulhu is pretty much my favorite RPG. But that doesn't mean I don't really like a bunch of other stuff too. Speaking of Chaosium, who makes Call of Cthulhu, and some cool other stuff, they're publishing the Spanish role-playing game Aquelarre. I believe I have just pronounced that correctly. Regardless, here's the dope. Announcing Aquilare, the best RPG not available in English, now available in English. Aquilare, which means coven, has been described as the best RPG not available in English. And now, almost 25 years since it was first released in Spain, Aquilare is available for English-speaking gamers. Originally from Spanish publisher Nosotros, I think I got that correct, Chaosium is distributing Aquilare after Nocturnal Media's successful Kickstarter. The English edition is a gloriously illustrated, complete role-playing game which comes with a selection of supplements and gaming aids for long-term play. Player characters in Aquilare begin life in one of 5 kingdoms that dominated the Iberian Peninsula during the Middle Ages: Castilla, Aragon, Granada, Navarra, and Portugal. Based on their region, characters may be of various cultures: Arabian, Basque, Castilian, Catalanian, Jewish, Muslim, and many more. Social position, from nobility to slave, and father's occupation affect their capabilities, including profession. Of course, personal characteristics play their part too. One such is the rationality-irrationality rating, which determines how attuned a character is with the irrational world, how capable with magic, and how susceptible to it. Rituals of faith depend on a high rationality instead. Advantages and disadvantages help them round characters out. The game system itself relies mainly on percentile rolls against either characteristic ratings or skills based on those, and on character experience. As might be expected from a game that has thrived for several decades, rules for combat, weapons, and healing are all nicely detailed, with options to suit a variety of playing styles. Aquilare also includes considerable detail about medieval life in Iberia, from daily business to social mores to fairy tales, besides the expected focus on angels and demons. The 570-page hardcover, yes, you heard that right, 570 pages. It is available from our friends over at Chaosium for $59.99, or you can grab the PDF at DriveThruRPG for $24.99. This seems very interesting, I have to say. Also, because I mentioned DriveThruRPG, also want to point out that the Gaming Gang and thus the Daily Dope are affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to go visit, say, DriveThruRPG or Dungeon Masters Guild, please stop by thegaminggang.com first, click on one of our banner ads, and that way, if you do make a purchase, we get a little piece of that pie. Very little piece. It's just a sliver, but it still hangs out. And actually, it all adds up and really, really helps keep the Gaming Gang around. Anyway, back to talking about Aquilare. This is supposed to be very, very interesting. Here's the thing, though. And I understand European role-playing games are very, very different than American role-playing games. Just like I try to explain to people, like Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay is a very unique kind of style to it, especially if you go back and you check out some of the adventures in that say like Graham Davis wrote or worked on. You'll see that there's always kind of this like black humor to it, and just the whole setting is different, right? So, kind of Pathfinder, Dungeons and Dragons, those are high fantasy. They're kind of high fantasy. You kind of get the impression the world is pretty good, and outside of, fighting monsters and, bad things happening, overall, things are probably fairly clean and things like that. Whereas Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay is kind of along the lines of Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It's grubby and gritty and things like that. So this role-playing game, Aquilare, my understanding is, for the most part, your players usually are playing characters who have sold their souls to the devil. So very unique, very different. I don't know anything about it outside of what I just shared, but it does look interesting, and the art does look very unique. Flaming Heron was mentioning that as well. So, and this has been I guess this is one of the most popular role playing games in Spain. Just like the Dark Eye is huge in Germany, I guess this is a big one in Spain. I'm sure we won't get an opportunity to see the hardcover, but maybe I'll try to see if I can get a peek at the PDF. So Grey Day is mentioning that it's Curse of the Crimson Throne is good, but his players enjoyed Rise of the Rune Lords better. It is Rise of the Rune Lords, right? Because a Grey Day just said Rune Lords, but I'm pretty sure it's Rise of the Rune Lords. And Kingmaker, yes, Kingmaker. They did the PC role playing game based on that. I have yet to get a chance to actually play it. Jade Regent and Skull and Shackles. Skull and Shackles is the pirate one, if I remember correctly. And then, of course, the one that's currently going on right now is the Traveling Circus. So, and I reviewed the first part. I thought the first part was really good. So Grey Day says, yes, it is Rise of the Rune Lords. There we go. So let's see. So Flaming Heron says, yep, they're a fan of Warhammer. And Zluelhand, to me, Zluelhander, or however it's pronounced, to me is just kind of a ripoff of Warhammer. I mean, that's how I kind of look at it. It's just kind of just a ripoff. And the reason people can do that kind of stuff is it's impossible for you to copyright mechanics. So anyway, so I'll stick to my Warhammer 4th edition. Speaking of, boy, how we just segue right into this stuff, right? We're talking about Warhammer and that. So on Friday, I got a package from my pals over at Cubicle 7 Entertainment. So first off, we got the new Game Master screen. So we got the Game Master screen for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. We got the hardcover of Enemy in Shadows, which is the first part of the Enemy Within campaign. I have been dipping my toes in this a little bit. I started reading it, the PDF a while back, and then I got sidetracked with other stuff. So we've got this, if you're familiar with the Enemy Within campaign from first edition Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, this includes the first 2 adventures. So I think in that campaign, the first adventure was something like Enemy in Shadows or Enemy Within. Let me take a look real quick, see if I can see right in here. Yeah, so it was The Enemy Within was the name of the first adventure, and then there's Shadows over Bogenhofen. So those are both in here. So it's both, which I think it was Hogshead Publishing picked up Warhammer after Games Workshop dropped it. I think they did the same thing when they were releasing Enemy in Shadows, was they combined the first 2 modules basically into one adventure. Because the first part of this originally came out, I think, 87. Gosh, I was out of high school a couple of years. Jeez, I was in college. Jeez. Man, it's way, way, way long ago. Also, the other thing is got the Enemy in Shadows companion, which I am very interested in looking at this, because I sort of have the impression that this is going to be just massive. This whole campaign is just going to end up being massive. So very cool there. We'll talk a little bit about this in a second. Then the other thing was I got this cool fabric dice tray. It's actually the same fabric that mouse pads are made out of. And very nice. It actually snaps together. I know some dice trays have little clips. This has snaps. Thought that was nice. I like that. Very cool. I know. I get giddy over the goofiest shit. you know, just, and not to say this is shit. But I'm saying when I got this, I was like, oh wow, oh man, that's cool. And here I've got all this RPG goodness right in front of me, and I'm going, oh whoa, look at this. Fleming Heron says, well, the first part is such a small adventure, most people just quickly moved on into Bogenhofen. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, it's a pretty short one. So, thing about this. So, thing about the, this is the director's cut. So, just so folks also know, now, of course, I'll have a review of it in the very near future. But I want to point out that Graham Davis went and has redone some stuff. So because this is such a classic adventure, just like Massa Nyarlathotep, that's how I pronounce it, Nyarlathotep. I've heard some other pronunciations, but I always heard it's what I think some people say Nyarlathotep, something like that. I always heard Nyarlathotep. I'm sticking with it. Just like we always call Cthulhu C of C, not COC. And I know a lot of people are like, that's the abbreviation, COC. And I'm like, I don't care. I was calling it C of C back in 1982 and 81. I ain't changing. So anyway, I kind of get the impression that this is going to be one of these sorts of like Masks of Nyarlathotep kind of releases with like these companions. I'm not positive, but that's the impression I get. Whereas this is the core book, this is the adventure, and I believe these are jam-packed too. Because this is kind of a little old school. It's not necessarily OSR, but it is a bit of an old school vibe to the proceedings. And just jam-packed with adventure in here. Really, really dense is what I'm trying to say. And then I think these companion books are going to kind of fill in some more examples of how game masters can present, kind of give them different options, maybe has some more adventure nuggets in here. I don't think they're just going to be just little like hooks or anything like that. I think there's probably full-fledged stuff in here. So looks very, very cool. So Grade A says COC, corrosion of conformity. There you go. Naiharu Hotep. I've never heard that pronunciation. So Flaming Heron says, yeah, I'll make do with my card dice trays. Yeah, I have a couple of dice trays that are from Wizards of the Coast that had the D&D dice, which you actually open up and they're 2 dice trays. So now I've got 5 dice trays. So I've got enough dice trays for everybody you normally would sit around the table. So other thing, I'm trying to remember if I think I mentioned this. I did the unboxing. First look at Tales from the Loop, the starter set. That's out from last week too. So we actually had a good number of videos that popped up last week. What do we have? 5 standalones? That's pretty good. So Flaming Heron says his understanding was that they gave you more world building that you could use for adventures. So it's a must buy for GMs. That's very, very possible. Like I said, just the adventure book itself is pretty dense. It's pretty densely packed, which is probably not a good thing for some modern game masters, especially game masters out there who like to just fly by the seat of their pants or, do like 5 minutes of prep. I don't. So Grade A says the correct pronunciation is whichever you find most horrifying. Just like Cthulhu. That is not because oh gosh, what is this? I'm trying to remember the author who is sort of the he's the expert on all Lovecraft things, and it's like TS something. It's not Ken Hite. We're not talking gaming stuff. And he's like, well, it's not really pronounced Cthulhu. It's supposed to be something that you can't really pronounce with the human tongue, but it's something like Tohuhu. I was like, okay. It's like, whatever. I'm sticking to Cthulhu. So Flaming Heron says, it does handhold a lot, but I only use what I want from adventures if they're pre-written ones. Yeah, ST Yoshi. That's it. Thanks a great A. That's exactly who it is. So yes, he's always like, it's like Cthulhu or Cthulhu, and it's like, okay. Like, if I say that, people are gonna be like, what? Yeah, you guys want to play a little Call of Cthulhu? Like, something wrong with you, Jeff? Got something caught in your throat? All right, so that is it for this time out. Like I said, not a whole lot of news today. Plus, it's just such a bummer what's going on in the country right now. Just, I don't know. I had almost thought, maybe I'll not do a show today. And then I thought, well, but then we get to kind of forget about what's going on outside for an hour. I don't know. All right. So as I always like to point out, if you like the video, by all means, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And of course, ring that notification bell because it'll let you know when the Daily Dope streams live Monday through Thursday nights, as well as also inform you when I upload standalone videos as well. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. All right, everybody who hung out in chat, thanks so much, especially with the fits and starts tonight. Glad we finally got this going. We did have some drop frames early on when the stream first started, but looks like after that we were fine. So we should be pretty good overall as far as the video. Anyway, those of you who watch live, thank you very much. And of course, if you don't have an opportunity to watch live, even if you watch on Memorex after the fact, I certainly appreciate you taking time out to catch the show as well. In fact, I appreciate anybody who watches, regardless if it's live or if it's after the fact. So I will be back tomorrow. So until then, everybody enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, I should say Monday night. All right, jumping into Tuesday. I started to say Tuesday morning / Monday night. I thought I'd do something a little different, and then I just botched that up completely, right? Anyway, everybody enjoy the rest of your Monday night / Tuesday morning. And, of course, I'll be back tomorrow. And as I always have been saying during this pandemic, because the pandemic's not over, folks. I know people think it is. It ain't. So be smart and stay safe. Oh, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel by clicking right here. And of course, if you want to catch up on past episodes of The Daily Dope, check out this playlist. And if you'd like to see what YouTube's recommending you take a peek at from the channel, just give a click right over here. Of course, I'm Jeff McAleer, and once again, thank you very much for watching.